Good morning, gorgeous. Well, darling, I'm sorry, I need to come in the field. Good morning! So, putting my Pivo really through its paces this week. So I have just set up behind me, and you can see the Pivo. I've lost it. Where is it? So, I'm doing an exercise from Your Horse magazine about practicing dog legs. It's supposed to be done with cavalettis, of which I have none. These are all the jumps I have access to behind me. So I popped them up just as low straight bars. So I wanted to see how the Pivo works when jumping. Obviously with a, look at my rosy cheeks. With a 20-metre range, this could be interesting. So I've set up the Pivo so that it is going to catch me as I come in. The idea is that it will be able to follow me as I make my approach. It will probably catch the first two jumps. The third jump, I don't think it will be following me, but it should have already tracked me over the first two, and when it loses me, it will have a few seconds going, oh what? So hopefully it will just stay still and wait for me to come back round. Just came to the fencing. So yes, my plan is to continue testing the Pivo, pushing the limits as it were, and try and figure out some helpful hints and tips, so then in a few weeks time I'll do a hints and tips video. So, got to get the boy ready. It's glorious sunshine. Look. Hey gorgeous! He doesn't care, never cares. Right, so I'm going to get the boy ready and then we're going to jump on board. Okay, so here we go. As I said before, I'd set up the Pivo so that it is kind of between the first two jumps. As I said, the idea is that it would follow me coming in, mainly on the right rein. Obviously from the left rein I'm going to be too far away, and then hopefully it would follow me up to the other few. As I go to get on him, you then realise where the limit is. So those three other jumps are definitely out of sight for the Pivo, because I take him over to one of the jump wings, two jump on, and the Pivo does lose us a bit. So far so good. It can follow to the yellow, but when I move off, I think it's literally just a couple of feet in it, and that's when the Pivo loses me. As I said, I was expecting it to. It's more than 20 metres away, so that's fine. I'm going to let the video play, and I'm just going to edit up bits and then share my honest reviews on trying to jump with the Pivo. So I think that is where I had kind of lost it, because this is not tracking me, it's looking for me. So it's literally just that extra stride. It then comes back. This is one of the things I find very frustrating with the Pivo. So obviously it's kind of going back to where it last saw you to try and figure it out. It just scrolled past me. Today, for some reason, I'm not sure, because I hadn't changed any of the settings, but it kept doing this, and it kept doing that even when I walked past it. So this time I managed to get it quite quickly. Other times I would walk past it 3 or 4 times and it would just keep flying by me. I had to literally go and stand in front of it and wait for it to catch me on the way round. So now I'm just testing the boundaries. This is something I think I'm going to get used to doing now whenever I set it up, just getting an idea of where it keeps tracking me. I was quite surprised it kept with me there, but as you can see, it's lost me again, so it's just going to spin round. That's fine, that was outside of where I expected it to track me, so that isn't a complaint. That's just me trying to figure out. I can see myself spending the first 5-10 minutes wandering round, which I do with him anyway. We're on a loose rein, we just have a little wander round just to get an idea of, oh, work's coming. Just wandering around to wait for it to figure out where its boundaries are. But you see how I'd got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to stop. I'll just stop and then it can catch me again. So on the whole, during the warm-up, they did a pretty good job of keeping up with me, actually. I was very aware I didn't have any markers or stuff, so when I was doing, like, as you can see, that change variant, as soon as I get the other side of the jumps, it did lose track of me. Again, that was to be expected. That wasn't much of a surprise. I've come trotting past and it's picked me up quite quickly. So, you know, that's good. It figured out where I was, it picked me up. Again, it's going to lose me again, because I've gone out of shot. As you can see, it's straight away gone, oh, where did I last see her? And kind of goes back there. Well, I assume it does that. That's how it feels watching it back. I've trotted past well within the vision, and I think it's tracking me. Let's just continue. Yep, that's definitely tracking me. It's not searching for me again. So it picked me up quite easily there. So it managed to keep up quite well during my warm-up. I did a little walk, trot, canter, each rein, and it followed me quite easily. So now I'm going to come in for my first line down the jumps I've set up. That is something my horse does a lot. He doesn't really pick his feet up over the smaller rails, knocks them down and then freaks out. As you can see, we got over that middle jump and it just lost me. It just went, oh, I don't know. So whether it was because he did that erratic jump forward or anything like that, the Pivo just lost me. Oh my god. And that is the frustrating thing. I've trotted past, I've not gone very fast past it, and it didn't notice me, didn't pick me up. And again, it's very frustrating when it stood still and you go to trot by it and then it just goes, oh, I'm going to go the other way again. And I kept this in because I wanted you to see how when it works it's great, but this was one of the frustrating days that I just kept going, cooey, hello, hello. And again, it just does. So that's 4 times I've passed by it. So it did get to the point, I felt today, that I did have to kind of go up to it and just stop. It was a bit frustrating to work with. I did feel the point, and then I was finally like, oh, it's finally caught up with me. I don't want to focus so much on, oh, is the camera following me, rather than what is my horse doing? Am I schooling him well? Once I'd got the camera following me again, I tried it a second time, and do you know what? It followed down the entire line this time. It seemed to have figured out what was going on, and it follows me right to the last jump, so I was really happy with that. This is where, riding wise, it started all going a bit to hell. Bojack just started getting so tense and just freaking out a bit. So I really did stop paying any attention to where the Pivo was. Pivo had lost me there halfway through the middle jump, but it had managed to catch me going over the third jump, so I wasn't too bothered with that. That was, again, I'd set it up thinking that. I could have tried setting it up a little closer. My only concern with setting it up closer is that when you get too close to it, it loses you. So I was worried that if I set the Pivo up quite near to the jumps, whether when I went over the jumps it would I'd get too close and it would lose me. As you can see, I trotted past it there and it just went, no, I'll look to the left a bit, I'll look to the left. It did that a lot today. I'm not going to lie, it did that a lot. I'm then coming in from the left drain and I'm thinking, will it catch me? Will it see me there? It feels like it has, but then it's actually, no, it's actually just searching for me again. I then hopped off and then I've changed the settings. Somebody had said to me last night to try zooming in a little bit before you start filming, because sometimes it can keep the track of you better. So I've jumped off, I've zoomed in, picked up the rails that he's knocked down, and then I'm starting up again. Bojack was like a raging dragon today. So as you can see, he has suddenly turned into this very tense, very stressy pony. He does this sometimes when he catches the poles, he then shoots forwards. I've only had him a year and a half. I got him when he was 10. I don't know his history, but I'm pretty sure it was a little rough along the way. So when he catches poles, things like that, he often has this habit of just going, ah, and running. And we were having that today. So he is a bit tense. He's a bit, oh God, oh, as you can see, this is not pretty riding. This is nothing very impressive. But having zoomed in, it did follow me a little easier through the line. So now let's see if we can keep up in a canter. I had stopped paying attention to it and I'm really happy that it did lock on to me during canter. Oh, he's all over the place there, lovely changes, flapping, flying, everything. But it kept up with me really nicely through the canter there. I was really happy with that. We then had about 4 minutes of me trying to catch the Pivo's attention again. And then we were going down the line in trot, trying to keep him nice and calm and doing our little dog leg. Do you know what? It kept up with me after that yellow jump. I was really impressed with that. I'm honestly quite surprised because that was definitely out of its range. So thumbs up Pivo. I'm really impressed that it kept following me there. So zooming in a little definitely makes a difference to the tracking ability of this little device. I'm going to come down the line again just to check it wasn't a fluke. And yep, it once again tracked us and followed us. Really happy with that, really impressed that that tiny little bit of zoom, and I didn't zoom in too much, but that little zoom kept it. It's keeping up again in canter. I actually don't have a problem with how it keeps up in canter. I think it's quite responsive in canter. That isn't a concern for me, the speed. It is literally just the distance that sometimes you go just a little too far and it just loses you. So on this line, I decided to go in the other direction, and as I thought when I set up, it kept up with me quite well actually. I was quite impressed with that. I didn't expect it to follow me after that jump, but it kept up and I could say, right, okay, well at least I've seen what I've been doing, and then I'll go around and catch the Pivo's attention again. So on the whole, I think for flat work, for pole work, when you're keeping into a school and you can keep a Pivo right in the middle, it is a useful little tool. I think for jumping, any kind of training like that, it still has a little way to go. I found it quite frustrating that today, I don't know why the previous days I have been able to trot or walk past it. Today I had to keep, more often than not, walk, stand, and then go, right, it's got to catch me again. Obviously it's lost me, I've gone way out of shot, that isn't a really concern. Jumping, I think if you're just doing like 3 jumps down the centre line in a school and you can set it up at E, yeah, it will probably follow you. But I think on the whole, when I'm filming jumping in future, I will definitely just be popping my normal camera just on a solid a stationary tripod and go from there. So hopefully Pivo will add a few little updates so that they can film you from a little further distance, but right now it's not quite ready for doing jumping or anything like that, and it definitely couldn't do a course because it would definitely lose you very quickly. So it's May 12th, it's about 10-12 degrees, still quite mild in the morning, so it's quite chilly on my walk down. And this is Bojack. You see the sweat. I'm not sure if you can see the steam rising off him. Might need to come around to the other angle. He was clipped 3.5 weeks ago. See the steam rising off him there. He's done about 20 minutes of work that wasn't that strenuous. And this is why we clip. So Bojack's getting clipped tomorrow, Thursday, I can't remember. And yeah, that is why, because he is so... Can you see? Oh, I can see the steam rising. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. This is what I have with my lovely hot running cob. Could you imagine this horse in the middle of summer? It's a myth. There it is. Look. You're hot stuff, buddy. Hot stuff. Well, he's got the devil in him today. Some days you get on them and they're just a bit nuts. Today was one of those days. We didn't really achieve all we wanted. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to put this in the video, whether I'll put it at the end or before I edit up what we've just done. I'll probably voice over what we've just done. Quick reaction. Pivo. It did not keep up today. It was away with the fairies. I think it maybe kept up about 50% of the time. I found it very frustrating. I kept riding past it and it would look at me and then look the other way. The last few days I've used it, it was quite easy to catch it again. It was not playing ball today. So I don't know what's going on there. He was just a bit of a fool. I will voice over the video, I think, and go from there. But as you can see, he's quite a sweaty boy. So I'm just going to wash him off before he has his breakfast. So enjoy.